the woods go dead silent, run. Never under any circumstances go into the Appalachian woods at night. I did. And whatever was hunting us out there didn't have a human voice, even though it was desperately trying to sound like one of us. I've lived in southern West Virginia my entire life, surrounded by dense forests and towering mountains in every single direction. When night falls out here, it brings a kind of thick, suffocating darkness that you can't even begin to imagine unless you've stood right in the middle of it. About 2 or 3 years ago, my friend Mark and I were hanging out late at my place, just doing the usual things, watching UFC, playing Xbox, and killing time. By the time 1 a.m. rolled around, we were bored and decided to head out to a nearby trail to smoke a joint. The trail itself isn't incredibly long, but the woods surrounding it are so thick and claustrophobic that it's easy to get freaked out if you let your mind wander. That night, the forest was unusually alive. There is always some background noise in the wilderness, but the sheer amount of animal activity at that hour felt deeply unsettling. It was eerie, but we tried to brush it off, thinking a predator in the area might have just stirred things up. We stopped about halfway down the trail, rolled the joint, and just stood there talking. And then in an instant, the entire forest fell dead quiet. Every single insect, bird, and rustling leaf stopped. The silence was heavy and absolute, and right out of that silence a voice started. But it didn't sound human. It was a shaky, fluctuating robotic voice, almost like an old dusty children's toy with a dying battery and a crackling speaker. It was just joining random, unintelligible sounds together in a bizarre, mocking pitch. Pure adrenaline hit us, and we immediately bolted in the opposite direction. But as we sprinted down the trail, the voice didn't fade. It didn't get closer, but no matter how fast we ran, it stayed at the exact same volume, echoing right beside us, repeating its creepy, broken sequence over and over without stopping. I have never felt such a genuine, primal sense of danger in my entire life. We were running on pure panic, almost in tears, gasping for breath as the exit of the trail finally came into view. But just as we were about 5 minutes away from safety, a bone-shaking, heart-stopping, murderous scream ripped through the air directly behind us. I know what a mountain lion sounds like. This was not an animal. It wasn't someone playing a prank or a sound from a movie. It was the most depraved, violent, and hateful scream I have ever heard, so loud and intense that it sent birds panicking from their nests. My heart literally dropped into my stomach. We didn't look back. We ran straight to the car, threw ourselves inside, and tore out of there. To this day, I've only told this story to a few people, and they all brush it off as a lie. I've never been someone who believes in the paranormal, but I know what happened. I genuinely believe we encountered something non-human in those woods. Have you ever heard something in the dark that you couldn't explain? Let me know in the comments and subscribe if you want to sleep tonight. If you thought the last story was chilling, wait until you hear this next one, because it proves that sometimes your sixth sense is the only thing keeping you alive. It all happened back when I was a teenager. I was with a girl up on Big Frog Mountain, just as dusk was settling in, miles away from civilization. As we got out of the car to head up a hiking trail, I noticed something odd right behind our bumper. I stepped in a mud puddle filled with a strange, light brownish water. I pointed out the unusual color to her. We shrugged it off, and we started walking. But we didn't get very far. An overwhelming wave of dread suddenly hit her, and feeling incredibly uneasy, she begged to go back to the car. Being teenagers, we ended up lying across the front seats to make out. She had her window rolled down, lazily letting her hand drape out into the cool night air. But then a bizarre feeling hit me. I've always been sensitive to people sneaking up behind me, and suddenly, the hairs on my back stood on end. I told her to pull her hand inside, and she did. A few minutes later, that same sensation returned, only this time it felt urgent. I reached over and rolled her window all the way up, but being young and distracted, I tried to ignore it and went back to kissing her. That was a massive mistake. Just a few minutes later, a sensation shot through my spine like someone had pressed a live electrical wire directly to my back. My instincts screamed at me to get out of there. I sat straight up, turned the key, and flew down that mountain road. She was completely confused, asking me what was wrong, but all I could tell her was that I didn't know. I just knew we were in danger. We drove straight to my parents' house to calm down. After finding out my family was safe and having a bite to eat, we finally calmed our nerves and decided to leave. I walked her out, opened the passenger door for her, and began walking around the back of the car to the driver's side. That's when my heart stopped. Smudged across the trunk of my car were handprints, rendered in the exact, distinct light brown mud from the puddle I had stepped in earlier. The trail of muddy prints crept along the side of the vehicle, with the final handprint resting right over the back window. Someone had been silently stalking around our car in the pitch black, inching their way closer and closer to the front window where we were completely vulnerable. The realization hit me like a physical blow, and a freezing chill ran down my spine. I pulled her out of the car to show her, and the moment she saw the muddy prints, she knew exactly how close we had come to something terrible. I swear on everything, this story is the absolute truth, and it is a night I will never, ever forget. If you were in my shoes and felt that sudden, terrifying sensation in your back, would you have ignored it to stay with your date? Or would you have started the car and bolted even sooner? What would you have done? Let me know down in the comments.